So we're going to go right up top and not go all the way in. Just make a nice clean incision all the way down the fish. Okay? That's just me starting it. Nice and clean. Okay, another thing when you are learning how to butcher fish is that you don't want to keep on jabbing at it or sawing at it. You really want to just let your knife do all the work. If you're pushing, inevitably you're going to make a mistake. And if you start going like this to it, you're really going to have a bad looking fillet. You want, what I always tell my crew when I'm training them how to cut fish, you get this great sharp knife, let it do all the work for you. And that's literally what I'm doing. So I'm just following along the backbone and spine, nice and clean. Boom. Then I'm going to go to this side. I'm not going to go all the way through. I'm going to do the same thing. Is just make a slight incision right down. So now I have something to work with. I'm not trying to commit this filleting the entire thing from the get-go. I'm giving myself a nice little cut which I can work with and going right through. And then now what I've basically just done is connected when I was cutting from the top and now cutting from the bottom. And I've gone from here back to the top where I'm cutting just to the spine, running my knife all the way around, now pointing, changing the angle, so I'm pointing down. One thing that you'll see with this fish, and I'll show it to you when I take this fillet off, is that it's flat and then you've got the spine itself, so there's a little bit of a bump. You can't just go straight down the fish. So you go from one side, you go from the other side, you're going to hit that bump and that's when you go up and then back down. So I basically filleted this entire side, and one thing that I do with this fish, just to get it off, is I've separated all the way there, and I'm going to go up to where the pin bones are, or where the ribs are, and now I'm just going to go straight through. And that gives me a fillet that looks like that. No chunks, no tears. Oftentimes when you go to a market and you see bluefish, it's got big holes in it and it's been abused and bent all over the place. This is one beautiful, nice, solid fillet. And that to me is pretty sexy. Now going right back to this fish, you'll see what I mean. Here, if you follow the spine all along, it's not flat all the way through. So this is why I cut just along the spine there. Then I came back to this side, again reviewing, came back there. And that's when I went up to the bump, and then I went down. I angled it and I came down. And that allowed me to get this nice clean cut. Now the second side is the hardest, because now when we flip this, there's nothing for this to really rest on. It was a lot easier when there was a whole other side. Again, it's a little bit more challenging, but certainly nothing to shy away from. And we're going to treat it the same way. Nice, clean cut all the way down. And you can see that here is the backbone, not the spine, but the backbone itself. Okay, so we're going to go right down there, just like we did before. And then we're going to turn this around and make our incision on this side, the belly side. Now, you know, there's a lot of different ways to fillet a fish, as there are a lot of different ways to skin a cat. This is just the way that works for me with this fish, and not all fish are equal or the same. Different fish have different challenges. They're generally kind of sort of the same, but they will have their own nuances in their bone structure, and that's just something that you have to learn over time. But the key philosophy of pushing down, nice and simple, nice and neat, going over the spine, nice and clean. Again, really not trying to waste any of the fish. This fish did give its life this morning. I intend to honor it by making it really tasty and not leaving anything behind. And that same way that I made that one cut before, I just made it this way. So then I can just remove my beautiful fillet with no divots and no other cuts. And I've really taken all the fish off the body. That's my contribution. Okay, so then what we're going to show you how to do is how to finish off your bluefish fillet. Here we have the belly flap, okay, and then there are going to be pin bones that run inside here. None of them are going to kill you, although the bones could get stuck in your throat, so we really want to try to get them out of there. If I were smoking this and picking the meat, I might just leave the bones in. It's not worth my time because you can pick it anyways and then you can pick out the bones. But if I'm looking to cut this into nice portions to put on the grill tonight, we're going to do this way. I'm going to see this one little piece right here that's part of the bottom fin, and along here too. Don't need it. So we're going to take that right off and get it out of the way. Okay, and then very gently, I'm going to go just below this belly flap to the ribs, and I'm pushing up so that I'm just going to separate the flap from the meat. Okay, now I'm going to turn it this way. So what I'm doing here is I'm not going to cut myself because there are actually bones that are right here, and I'm pushing up on them while I'm cutting. Okay, keeping it nice and neat that way. Boom, there goes your belly flap. Okay, and then what I would do with needle nose pliers, if I had them, or a fish boner, would be to go in here and grab these little bones and pull them out. I'm not going to do that on camera because I was just informed that my mom lost their needle nose pliers, so I owe her another pair. But that right there is pretty much Bluefish Butchery 101. Again, live from New Hampshire. Stay tuned. Charlie Moore, eat your heart out.